Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Futurum Tech webcast. I'm your host, Daniel Newman, Principal Analyst, Founding Partner at Futurum Research. Excited to have you here for this Futurum Tech webcast interview series. Today, I'm going to be joined by Nukri Basharilli. He's the founder and Chief Executive Officer of Agresion. We're going to have a conversation about decentralization, confidential computing, Intel SGX, and all things happening related to that and the computing and security industry. As I always like to start my show, I do get the disclaimers out of the way. So, first and foremost, thank you to Intel for being our partner and sponsor on this episode. Second, this show is for information and entertainment purposes only. And while we will be talking to and about publicly traded companies, please do not take anything we say on the show as investment advice. Now, without further ado, Nukri, welcome to the Future of Tech webcast.
Hello, Daniel. Hello, all. From Tbilisi, Republic of Georgia. And a little bit about me. I have PhD in nuclear physics. 15 years ago, I decided to change something and dived in startups. Last 12 years, I do projects in digital asset management. I have developed very good partnership with Intel and Microsoft. These companies help us to develop business worldwide, and we have raised funds from investment funds from Israel, New Zealand, and Singapore. This is short intro.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, an impressive set of credentials to get you to where you are. That degree and that PhD, I bet you there are some words in that dissertation in the title that I probably couldn't even pronounce, let alone tell you what they mean. But always very impressed when you can kind of take that knowledge, because there's practical knowledge in the real world and in application. And then, of course, there's sort of what I would call academia. And the two things have a ton of overlap, but sometimes they can be their own little universes. But it seems to me like you've taken all that education and now you're applying it into an area, by the way, that's of huge interest on a global scale right now. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. So let's start with Agresion. It's not a household name yet, but it sounds like it's an exciting growth company. Tell us a little bit about it, what the company does, and about the partnership with Intel.
Thank you, Daniel. Our team, Agregion, today is 60 experts in decentralized confidential computing, technology of distributed data management, machine learning, and project implementation in our customers. We are involved in very interesting projects, collaboration projects in corporations, and we are integrated in integration projects between telecommunication companies, banks, insurance companies, and retailers. Currently, we help companies to combine this data, big data, and help to manage auditory over than 100 million customers. I see it's a fantastic data, and of course it should be protected first of all. We name it a project for network economy. We help companies to do partnership based on big data. To first of all to manage this data, to collaborate, analyze this data, but not to lose control, not to compromise this data, and protect from data leakage. Our products are useful for digital marketing, data science, analysts. They have ability to manage common data with no risks to lose data control and no data leakage, as I mentioned. We were awarded from Microsoft. We are in 2020. We are partner of the year, country partner of the year. And of course, everything what we do is a platform generally based on Intel SGX technology of confidential computing. We don't aggregate data. We just help companies to use data, to combine and analyze data, strictly confidential mode. Using Egregion, all data, all time is on client side and never leaves clients' databases. And we help our partners to install our solution in their premises or in their cloud, and help companies to collaborate using this data, first of all. Our first project came on board 2 years ago, and currently our technology is growing. Our pipeline is growing every day, and fully booked. We are fully booked this year, the end of this year, and currently we are looking partners, first of all in the United States, to help us to implement our solutions for American clients.
So when you say decentralized confidential computing or decentralized, let me just kind of start there, because confidential computing is starting to get a lot of attention. We're hearing about it more and more. The hyperscalers are starting to come up with various approaches. The vernaculars, somewhat inconsistent. Of course, you mentioned Intel SGX is definitely one of the standards in this space. But decentralized, you're really, to simplify this for the audience who may be a little less technical, basically you're saying that you guys deal with the data from a disaggregated standpoint. It can be anywhere and everywhere, and yet you make sure that that security has the same benefits of that trusted enclave, or that trusted execution, where because we always talk about data in flight, data at rest, and data in motion, right? And confidential computing is all about really being able to keep that data protected in motion, because the other two states, there are a lot of protocols for doing that, right? So I'd like to dive into this whole confidential thing just a little bit further, a bit more of a macro level. What is the kind of data that you guys are protecting, with confidential computing? What are the applications that tend to work best in the trusted execution environment?
This is important. First of all, it's important to explain what do Egregion, because we do decentralized confidential computing. Because generally, when you see confidential computing is centralized, when companies choose servers, they upload data from one or several partners, and they aggregate and manipulate with this data confidential mode. But this is important to say why we are decentralized. There are many tasks where solutions could be solved otherwise, like when you try to collaborate different partners and you don't know who will be next, when pipeline changes daily of partners. When the case by case, we see that partnership changes, collaboration between different partners change, let's say, data sources, and you have to protect data from different partners when you have to protect models and scripts, and you have regulatory descriptions. In these cases, you can't put all data in one database, and you have to keep data on owner's premises. It means this is decentralized confidential computing. And about macro level, I have to maybe mention some cases. I wanted to be clear what we do. When we have projects, when retailers do partnership with CPG brands, and they wanted to combine data for digital marketing and insights, optimize supply chains. This is first case. Of course, sometimes retailers are competitors with each other. And from one side, of course, they can't put this data, their data, in one data lake. From another side, brand can help to retailers to promote and to increase sales. Another case, when bank with telecommunication company and retailer, they want to increase their models of risk scoring and fraud prevention, and they need target audiences. They need access to this data. But financial organization in, let's say, in Europe or in Georgia, they have restrictions. They can't send their data outside of their perimeter. And we see how huge financial groups develop ecosystems, combines data in super profile of their users. All this importance to say that all data processing is carried out or subject to consent of the user and compliance with norms of legalization on personal data. And today we work with structured data like purchase information, user preferences, different models, and we have pilot projects with unstructured data like video, like images, like audio, information from IoT devices. And using Intel SGX, we can develop different scenarios with this collaborative data. We can use machine learning mechanisms. We can develop reports of online to offline, sales lift. We can start advertising connected with advertising platforms. This is what we do with data, and we work. First of all, we work absolutely secure. We do, and we help to our clients to run machine learning, to work with any type of data development using Intel SGX enclaves.
I'd love to hear a bit about Egregion, though, a bit more about the company, if you don't mind. Like, what sort of drove this, the decision? I'm hearing that you saw opportunities in compliance, data sovereignty, regulatory complexity of data sprawl. I mean, are these the things that drove the business? I mean, what made you decide to go this route, build this platform?
Um, as I mentioned before, my previous experience was connected with digital asset management. It was more familiar data, like the movie, music, electronic books. And mobile technologies, you see, they did gap between right holders and users. I did license processing for content management. It looks like Visa, MasterCard, but not for money, for rights. And we did successful projects for Disney and Pearson. One time I got requests about can we do something same for data aggregators? And we got that we are close to a fast growing market. We successfully sold our previous project and started to develop a new platform for data, let's say, management. I have to say maybe some futurism, but I see that confidentiality is a basic level for all platforms of new, let's say, paradigm for projects in Web3. And I see it will be fully decentralized when you wanted to keep your data or manage or analyze your data I see that all our clients they need new version of confidentiality, and you see that activization of metaverse projects. You will see how data of personal data growing every day, and I see that we need new level of data protection and data transferring, and of course data manipulation. And this is how we came in Agregion as a platform of decentralized data management.
So are you seeing a big opportunity? Because you alluded to this, and I think there's a lot of speculation out there, and there's also some people that are not particularly fond of, but the metaverse and Web3. It sounds like you're really building a business that is going to be able to capitalize on that trend.
Um, we we go there with our clients. I see how enterprise clients, huge companies, they are looking, let's say, new challenges and new ways for their businesses. And metaverse today is a trend around. I see how banks and telecommunication companies, they are hiring new people who will, let's say, analyze and develop products for metaverse, for Web3. And of course, from one side, they have to work with data. They have to, let's say, combine their data from private and public, let's say, clouds. From another side, they have to guarantee to their customers that data is fully protected. This is the new trend, and I believe that we will see new ways, new levels of data collaboration using metaverse projects.
Yeah, and so much of Web3 is about decentralizing the data, and so it sounds like you guys are building a platform and a set of protocols and a company that's going to be well outfitted to deal with the onslaught of enterprise requests to build these kinds of solutions. Because there'll be a period this will evolve, but as it evolves, companies are going to be building in parallel. They're building for the continuous delivery of Web2 and the current applications that people are consuming, but they've got to be investing in building for the future, and they need the kind of technology that can manage data and decentralized data and on-chain data and all these different things that are going to be important to keep secure. So um, I've been fascinated listening to you. We're going a little long, so I want to jump ahead. Intel has been gracious in partnering with us for this episode. I want to talk a little bit about that relationship. They're one of your primary partners. You're talking about using SGX for your confidential computing standards. Talk a little bit about the Intel relationship, the Intel SGX technology, and why you felt that's the best approach for going forward with confidential computing for Agregion.
First of all, we are early supporters of IntelliGX technology, and I see it was great step for our company to implement IntelliGX as a first wave, because we got super support from Intel. As a result, we are ahead in different markets, and we have unique products. And of course, this is very important for any startup to be fast, to be first, to have strong support from Intel. As I mentioned, the main advantage of IntelliGX over other similar technology is mechanisms. So there are some unique mechanisms why we have chosen IntelliGX. First of all, this is attestation. To say simpler, this is mechanism to guarantee that all secure participants work confidentially with each other. This is absolutely unique mechanism, and only Intel GX today on the market provides this technology. And thanks to this technology, we can create not only, let's say, separate tenants or machines, we can create super secure clusters. We can put any, let's say, type of data. We can analyze huge amount of data, and we do it for our clients. Just imagine today, daily, we calculate over than 100 billion transactions daily using Intel GX technologies. And through this mechanism, attestation mechanism, all participants, including direct competitors, they see that data never leaves their perimeter. This cluster is strictly protected, and their scenarios, their scripts, everything everything is fully protected by Intel technology. And the advantage is the high performance and ability to run any type of application in these enclaves. And Intel helps us to develop this technology to include new new type of services for our clients. Intel helps us with architectures, engineers, and in business promotion of our products. This is why we work with Intel.
So we have about a minute left, and I'd love to give you ask you one last question about sort of what's ahead. So how do you build on this? What do you see as the next? It sounds like it's still pretty early. Is it all about accelerating adoption here? Is it about bigger projects? Is it about entering new markets? What's next for Egregion?
Next, as I mentioned, is to develop successfully partnership program for our clients and partners, because we want to stay first of all as an independent software vendor, but we need partnership to implement projects, because of course you can imagine we work with big clients, or we wanted to keep to be fast and strong on this market. That's why our next, let's say, level is to create strong partnership in the United States and Eastern Europe. Another important step is to support decentralized projects in different areas, like identification projects, like medicine projects, like governmental initiatives where government is combining their data with private companies and create new possibilities for citizens to use new services to do life better. This is what we have in our plans, and of course, thanks for Intel for supporting these initiatives of Egregion's initiatives.
Anouk Rivasarelli, CEO of Egregion. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on the Future of Tech webcast interview series. It's fascinating to learn about the business. It's always great to get to other parts of the globe and hear how companies are approaching it. Wishing you the best of luck with the continued growth and development. You've got some great partnerships. You're building on some very, very interesting and well-developed technologies that we at Futurum Research also see as core to the future of growth. So, Nukri, thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for everything.
All right, everyone, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you tuning in to this episode. We hope you will come back. Lots of interviews here on the channel. What a fascinating conversation here today. But for the Futurum Tech webcast interview series, got to say goodbye. Hope to see you all really soon.